2013, the government of Zimbabwe voted into force a new constitution. However, when some of the existing acts were placed in comparison with the requirements of the new constitution, they proved to be out of sync. Since the constitution is the supreme law of the land, all pieces of legislation that showed irregularities had to be aligned to the constitution.
I've got a long historical account of constitutional development, which actually culminated into us having the constitution that we have now. And it is that same constitution that we want to align with various pieces of legislation that we have. When you have got a constitution, it should reflect the wishes and aspirations of the people at any given time.
It's quite an important process that we're witnessing. The Inter-Ministerial Task Force on the alignment of legislation to the Constitution was established specifically for the purpose of ensuring that there's a coordinated approach in the alignment of laws process.
Out of the 396 acts in the country's statute book, over 200 acts required to be aligned at the inception of the new constitution. As part of its adherence to some of the democratic principles, the government of Zimbabwe has gone through developments in the amendment of the constitution to suit the rising needs of its citizens. From the Lancaster House Constitution of 1980 to the current constitution, which was appended by His Excellency President Robert Mugabe in 2013, the Zimbabwean experience has gone to prove that it's not an odd phenomenon to review and align pieces of legislation. With technical support from the Center for Applied Legal Research and the European Union, the efforts of IMT have reaped considerable results in granting Zimbabweans laws that uphold their fundamental human rights. One of the key features in the alignment of laws to the Constitution has been the consultation process, where the Inter-Ministerial Task Force and its partners reach out to targeted stakeholders, who then give in their inputs on what they perceive should be embodied, adjusted or removed on any piece of legislation being discussed, all in the light of creating harmony between the statutes and the Constitution. Among a host of acts deliberated upon in the consultative process was the Education Act, which saw the IMT embarking on a mission in the nation's 8 districts.
The Education Act, Chapter 2534, it has been last amended, which is a cosmetic amendment in 2006. It's an act which came into operation in 1987. So we need to look at it in the current trends and look into the future. Obviously, in terms of what is currently provided for in the new constitutional order by the coming in of the new constitution, which puts a certain emphasis on the elaboration of certain rights. And the right to education is also one of the key rights which the general citizen should enjoy.
What is important for us is the issue of emphasizing how education is a right for every child, how it actually obligates both the education providers and the parents to ensure that the learners are actually given a basic education. So that legal support can help us as the education families to then negotiate with our families that no child should either be exported to the neighboring country without an education or be told to go look after cattle. We feel it's going to empower us as education to fulfill our mandate.
This event that was held here today, it is some sort of a revolution that is making a new law that aligns to the new constitution that was put in Zimbabwe in 2013, so that us as learners can have a conducive environment that we feel we are comfortable in, so that we can learn and have our own education to the highest level we can.
Kwete shamu dzekuti ukarohwa unoita 1 week une chidindo cheichocho.
If I'm to move 10 kilometers to school from home, actually I will reach at school being tired, of which that one is the psychological neglect. To me, I won't have that energy or that strength to do my schoolwork. I'll be wanting a lot of time to rest. So it will have a negative effect in my education. I will definitely fail.
When I don't have the finances to actually go on and pay my fees, it just has been done at our school. Children are actually sent back to home because they couldn't afford to pay the fees. So if I couldn't afford to pay the fees and I'm not at school because I'm not actually allowed to go there without the fees, then that becomes a barrier. I can't go back and pursue my studies because I don't have the finances to actually allow me to get there.
The alignment process has also been characterized by the conducting of write-shops, where all gathered data on a given act is then formulated into a draft by experts in that particular field that is later on presented before Parliament for consideration.
This technical committee is comprised of the Law Development Commission, the Department of Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs, the Legislative Drafting Department of the Attorney General's offices, and then, of course, the Center for Applied Legal Research. Within the Center for Applied Legal Research, there are some experts, experienced drafters, and those are the ones who actually came up with this zero draft.
What we are trying to do in this particular exercise is to call people in the field, the social welfare people, to say this is the zero draft which has been done. So let's look at your principles, let's look at the zero draft. Has it captured everything you think will assist you in doing your work? We'll take their suggestions on board, but again, from a point of view of legislative drafting, some suggestions they may give us, we may feel their type of suggestions we should go in regulations as opposed to a principal act. It will be submitted now to the Attorney General's Legislative Drafting Division. They are the experts now who are going to polish it up before we submit it to the minister.
Bi-monthly meetings have also been heralded by the task force and its line ministries to assess the progress that has been made so far in the alignment process. At the helm of such assessments is the Attorney General, who makes sure that the process is reaching its desired end.
Constitutional Legislative Alignment Process, which is brought to you by the Inter-Ministerial Task Force on the alignment of legislation to the Constitution.
To maximize on visibility and transparency, the task force has resorted to the adoption of new media platforms. Line ministries and the general citizens can finally have latest feedback on how the proposed acts for amendment are progressing.
It's a very, very technical process. It's a very historic process at the same time. We don't know at which stage we will have another chance to be able to subject our laws to such a comprehensive process of legislative reform. Consultations need to be carried out. Then the drafting process will begin. But at the same time, the ministry will also need to develop memorandum of principles which are going to go through cabinet and they need to be approved. So this is why the process takes quite long for a single piece of legislation. However, just to urge all stakeholders that are involved to continue to be committed and to play their part to ensure that all pieces of legislation are aligned to the Constitution. The IMT is there, it's ready to provide the necessary support.